Oddball, the game type that's never fair because there's an odd person holding the ball. So today, we're going to make it fair so you can win more oddball matches. YouTube, welcome back to part 3 of Snipedown's bootcamp, and I got some juicy information that's going to make you the best oddball player out there right now. There's so much to think about in oddball. Setup, spawns, map movement, breaking setups, and it also requires a unique sense of awareness, slaying, and objective control. Before I get into this, if you're only focused on stats and not playing the objective, you're taking a big L just because you're gonna lose the game, and then also you're just gonna lose CSR. So regardless, everything that we talk about today, if you play the objective correctly and you play this game type, your KDA won't suffer, and also you'll win games, which means your CSR would definitely go up. Yes. I want you to remember this quote. If you think right, you do right.
My mind is officially blown.
If you enjoyed these videos so far, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button with the bell notifications turned on. You definitely do not want to miss the next two, which is Capture the Flag and Strongholds. After all this, if you still want one-on-one coaching, click on my Pro Guides link in the description down below so you can book your next session with Sensei.
Yes, Sensei!
So there's gonna be 3 points that we're gonna talk about so that you can improve in oddball. The first point that we're gonna talk about is what is the ball carrier's role. So one thing that I see a lot of people do in matchmaking is they don't even play for the ball, which I think is the most ridiculous thing ever. Unless you're someone like Lucid or Frosty that you know you're gonna be able to like get slays all the time. The best way for you to keep your KDA intact is by being the ball carrier, and we're going to talk about things that you're going to need to do in order for you to get kills, to help your teammates, and then also still have the least amount of death. And that's the best case scenario for you as a ball carrier, because now your worries of having a terrible KD is going to be lessened, and you're going to be able to help your team win the objective. So some responsibilities that a ball carrier will have is communicate weaknesses in your setup based off of your teammates' deaths and positioning. Direct your teammates to enemy pressure points. So if there's more people pushing on one side of the map, direct other people towards that side of the map to help out. Since the ball is being held, it'll always be a 3v4. So if you're the one holding the ball, be willing to drop the ball and be able to help out your teammates as much as possible, because you're already at a numbers disadvantage. So the best way is to at least level it out and help your teammates so that you guys can gain numbers control and you guys can be able to hold the ball longer. So when your setup is being broken as a ball carrier, you have to be able to make some of these hard decisions. And there's 3 questions you got to be able to ask yourself. 1, should you drop the ball so that you help defend and hold your setup that you currently have? So here's a really good example I'm about to show you on your screen of myself holding the ball, and when I start seeing enemies that my teammates need help on, I drop the ball and instantly help them out. So one thing that you want to keep in mind in this clip is that I got 5 kills being the ball carrier, and I died 0 times. So I'm already +5 right out of the gate. So you can already see the advantages of being the ball carrier, but also being able to help your teammates as much as possible.
Ball's one. Ball's one shot. One on A.
He's absolute.
Motherfucker died. Pillars.
Triple kill.
Somebody milk some time here. Yeah. You're spawning from C.
Yeah, we gotta play for those rockets.
B Ben. Red room.
All dropped.
Objective is
Come on, B stairs.
All dropped.
Hold on, careful, Ben. Don't come up your stairs. 2P.
All dropped. Enemy spotted. We have the wall.
Spanker.
Here, I'll
inbound.
fight.
There should be another one.
Alright, naded
4
you
seconds
back.
rocks.
Yeah, they're gonna spawn C.
All dropped.
Spanker.
When I tire the rocks.
Second question you want to ask yourself in the heat of the moment is, should you rotate the ball towards your teammates that are now spawning in? So what is rotating the ball? I've gotten asked this question quite a bit, is being able to move the ball around the map towards where your teammates are spawning so that your enemies are going to have to go all the way around. If your enemies are not the smartest and cut right through the map, they're going to take the long route all the way around, and they're going to be like the police trying to chase you. But since you're rotating the ball towards your teammates, now you have help, and it's going to be back to a 3v4 If you drop the ball, it'll be back to a 4v4. And the third question you want to ask yourself is, should you play the ball or throw the ball in the middle of the map so that it prevents your enemies from having a free setup? So the idea of this tossing the ball off the map or throwing it in the middle of the map is if your whole team dies within a setup, you're pretty much giving your enemies a free setup inside wherever the ball was. So if you throw the ball off the map or you throw it in the middle of the map, it makes it harder for your enemies to grab the ball and set back up because now they have to slay out. Whereas your teammates can be right in the fight and kind of defend that ball so that they don't get that ball. If you're the ball carrier and your team's setup is being broken, your teammates are dying, and you played ball or you threw it in the middle of the map, if you can stay alive after you threw the ball or you played the ball in the middle of the map or off the map, you can be a valuable asset because now you can be like the inside man. You can be the person that's putting shots on the enemies from the inside while your teammates are spawning in and they can finish them off and you guys can team shot them. Or the team that's breaking the setup, they're going to be focused on killing you, whereas your teammates can now engage in the fight without being torched by 3 or 4 guys. So how do we break oddball setups? The first thing you need to do in order to break an oddball setup is play consistently around your team and also in their line of sight so that they can help. You want to avoid being in a 1v1 situation, 1v2, 1v3, 1v4 situation, because then your enemies will have numbers control and you want to avoid that at all possible costs. Number 2, understand when your teammates cannot help you and you have to adjust your play. Just like in Slayer, staying alive is a main priority. If you have an advanced position, meaning you're in their setup or you're close to being in their setup, one thing that you can do is wait till your teammates spawn and then you can be the person that distracts your enemies. So you can start shooting at the enemies and then what will happen is they'll start to turn around and face you and try to kill you while your teammates can start picking off one guy at a time. And then what will happen is you'll have numbers control and you'll be able to regain control of the oddball. So if your enemy already has a setup and you guys are looking to break it, if you guys have one enemy down, one thing you want to do is you guys want to swarm in all angles. Left, middle, right. You don't want to give them an opportunity for them to throw the ball or play the ball out into the middle of the map. And once you're able to swarm them in all angles, you guys will be able to kill them all. And then you guys will have a free setup and you guys don't have to do any of the work and you guys will be able to get a lot of ball time. And the last tip we're going to give from Snipedown's bootcamp when it comes to oddball is using spawns to your advantage. Spawns are incredibly important in oddball. Typically, if you hold the ball, your teammates will spawn close to you or on the side where the map is empty. This is important being on both the defending or attacking side. On defense, holding the ball while your teammates are spawning is important for these reasons. A, this can allow you to repel a push using spawns to give your team extra lives. So it'll be able to spawn closer to the ball or where it's empty. Depending on how teammates spawn, you can understand enemy positions and pressure points. So understanding what part of the map is safe. And lastly, you can rotate towards teammates spawning and away from enemy pushes. As the attacking team, track enemy spawns using the ball carrier and teammate positions as a guide. You want to utilize numbers advantage quickly, pushing in to block nearby enemy spawns and force the ball carrier to drop the ball. Secondly, spawn timers and recognize if they're coming up while the enemy still has spawn control. This is why pushes fail. When you're killing your enemies, your teammates fail to push up, hence not blocking those close spawns. And so what your enemies will do is they'll start to spawn close to the ball. If you push up while having numbers control, the enemies will spawn further away from the ball, but on the opposite side of your team spawn. Lastly, you want to recognize ball rotations early and use this information to block enemy spawn locations. Those are 3 tips that are going to help you become a better oddball player. So start implementing it now, become better so that when season 2 comes around, let's get you to Onyx. Let's get you better. If you haven't seen my last video on Slayer, click on the video next and watch that next. And make sure you like and subscribe with the bell notifications. And I'll see you on the next one, YouTube. Have a great day.